Just think, for a team that is built to win right now, like you built to win right now, and you're putting this much faith and this much pressure on a kid that ain't played no snaps and was hurt all last season. That's tough.
Because if they find out that he really has it, now we can go all in on the Super Bowl without the contract.
With the addition of Fries and Ryan Kelly, we're talking about an offensive line that'll be top 3, top 4 offensive line in the NFL. We know the perimeter players are top 3 in the NFL. Fully expect J.J. McCarthy to hit the ground.
They call it the most difficult position in all of sports. Quarterback, the position where leadership isn't a trait, it's a requirement, where one mistake can unravel months of preparation and one moment of brilliance can define a decade. It's where the spotlight never dims, where the questions never stop, where the pressure doesn't come in waves but pounds like a constant storm. A 21-year-old kid named J.J. McCarthy. He wasn't supposed to be the chosen one, not in the way Caleb Williams was, not in the way Drake May was hyped. JJ was quieter, polished, yes, poised, handed off. He managed, he made throws when he had to. He won a national title by doing what was needed, not impossible. And now, with the Vikings' future placed squarely on his shoulders, McCarthy steps onto the field not as a backup, not as a hopeful, but as the guy, the face of a franchise, the thread that connects past pain with future promise. He enters a locker room that is not rebuilding, but rebuilt on it. Justin Jefferson isn't just a weapon, he's a force of nature, a root technician with a highlight reel so vast it could be mistaken for a documentary. He's in his prime, hungry, frustrated, brilliant, and very aware that prime windows don't stay open forever. He wants excellence, he demands leadership, and now he's tethered, whether he likes it or not, to a rookie quarterback who's never played a full NFL season. It's a partnership born not from history, but from hope, and hope in this league is fragile. Jordan Addison waits quietly, emerging in the shadows as a young star with speed and smoothness, ready to explode if given the right quarterback to unlock him. TJ Hockenson is recovering, but when healthy, he's one of the most dynamic tight ends in football. Tough, reliable, and a matchup nightmare. The offensive line, decent but under scrutiny. The defense, rebuilding but capable. This isn't a roster that's tanking. It's a roster that's aching for ignition, that's waiting for the spark. And that spark, right or wrong, is J.J. McCarthy. And the pressure? It's suffocating. This isn't a city of casual fans. Minnesota doesn't just support its team, they carry it. Through snow, through heartbreak, through decades of near misses and playoff collapses, Vikings fans remain loyal, but weary. They've seen quarterbacks come and go. Brad Johnson, Culpepper, Ponder, Bridgewater, Cousins, each with their own story, each with their own spark, and yet no rings, no confetti, no Lombardi. This fan base doesn't want more patience. They want payoff now, and they're looking at McCarthy not as a rookie, but as a revolution. There will be no grace period, no extended honeymoon. The first interception, the first fumble, it will be dissected on talk shows and plastered across social media within minutes. That's the nature of the beast. That's what comes with being a quarterback in the modern NFL. Every throw, every glance, every hesitation is analyzed. And when you're stepping into a position that's been cursed by inconsistency, the pressure isn't just to perform, it's to redeem. But inside that pressure is opportunity, because J.J. McCarthy isn't just walking into expectations, he's walking into potential. What if it all clicks? What if the accuracy that flashed at Michigan becomes consistent under the NFL lights? What if his mobility becomes a weapon, not a safety valve? What if the timing, the decision-making, the charisma all evolve quicker than anyone predicted? Suddenly, Jefferson isn't just catching passes, he's breaking records. Addison isn't just stretching the field, he's terrifying defenses. Hockenson isn't just a safety net, he's a wrecking ball up the seam. And McCarthy, he becomes the guy, not just in Minnesota, in the league. Because the truth is, the tools are there. The mental makeup, the leadership, the footwork, the willingness to learn. McCarthy spent a full year behind the curtain, watching, listening, preparing. And now, that patience must translate into poise, into execution, into control. The league will test him, blitz him, confuse him. They'll dare him to beat them. They'll bait him into mistakes. And the question isn't whether he'll stumble. He will. Every young quarterback does. The real question is, how does he respond? Does he crumble under the spotlight, or does he lean into it? Because the Vikings aren't asking for perfection. They're asking for presence, for command, for courage, for a quarterback who can grow, adapt, and above all else, lead. They're asking for someone who can give Justin Jefferson a reason to stay. Someone who can make Minnesota believe again. Someone who doesn't need 3 years to develop into a starter. The time is now. The lights are on. The stage is set. And that's the tightrope J.J. McCarthy walks in 2025. On one side, greatness. On the other, collapse. This isn't just about learning the playbook or adjusting to NFL speed. This is about managing an entire organization's identity, about being the reason the narrative changes, the reason the fan base believes, the reason the culture shifts. Because if McCarthy fails, it won't just be his name in the headlines. It'll be Jefferson's frustration, Addison's momentum stalled, the front office questioned, another wasted year, another name etched in disappointment. But if he succeeds, then something rare happens. A quarterback finds his team, a city finds its voice, and a franchise finds its future. That's the magnitude of this moment. That's the gravity he stands in. A 21-year-old kid, alone at the center of the storm, not just playing quarterback, but carrying a legacy that's still waiting to be written. And the pen is in his hands now. What will he write? We'll find out soon. If you believe in J.J. McCarthy's story, if you think this could be the beginning of something truly special, make sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and drop your thoughts in the comments. Is Minnesota finally on the verge of finding the guy? Or is this just another chapter in their long, painful quarterback saga? Because this isn't just football. This is pressure. This is belief. This is destiny. And J.J. McCarthy is about to find out if he's built for it. And yet, even as the stakes loom large and the margin for error vanishes beneath the crushing weight of expectations, there's something undeniably magnetic about this moment. This quiet before the storm, this breath before the first real throw, this final pause before the noise begins. Because deep inside the heart of every football fan in Minnesota, no matter how bruised or jaded by the years of false starts and shattered hopes, there still flickers a fragile but relentless ember of belief. They've seen quarterbacks flame out, seasons derail, and promising rosters dissolve into disappointment. And still, they hope. Because what if this time it's different? What if this time the quarterback standing tall in the huddle doesn't blink? The echoes of the past still haunt the halls. From Gary Anderson's missed kick in '98 to the Minneapolis Miracle that ended 1 week too soon, the Vikings have danced with destiny only to watch it slip through their fingers like snow melting on turf. The fan base knows heartbreak intimately. It's part of the fabric, part of the sound of every cheer. But that pain, the kind that lingers after the losses and seasons that ended in silence, is exactly what makes the promise of McCarthy so intoxicating. Not because he guarantees victory, but because he offers something even more powerful, a chance. The coaches see it too. They watch the tape and notice the little things. The poise in a collapsing pocket, the quick reset of the feet, the eyes that stay downfield even when the blitz is closing in. They see a young man not intimidated by the complexity of the game, but driven by it, obsessed with improvement, unbothered by the spotlight. The kind of quarterback who stays late in film sessions, asks the hard questions, takes the blame when it isn't his to take. The kind of leader who doesn't demand the locker room's respect, he earns it. And that locker room, filled with veterans who've played through regimes, contracts, and seasons of chaos, they're watching too. Watching to see if this kid is just another name, or if he's the one. Because nothing divides a team like a quarterback when it hurts, and stands tall after interceptions. McCarthy doesn't need to be perfect, he just needs to be real. And that's what this season is really about. Authenticity, stepping into the storm, not with brilliant plane rides, and the unrelenting grind that separates draft picks from legends. Because when winter hits Minnesota and the playoff race heats up, and the NFC North turns into a war zone of cold weather games and brutal defenses, McCarthy won't have time to think about potential or ceiling or projections. He'll have to be the moment. He'll have to walk into Lambeau and silence decades of history. He'll have to trade punches with the Lions, who've turned hunger into identity. He'll have to stare down the Ravens, the 49ers, maybe even the Eagles, and say, "We belong here." And if he can do that, if he can weather the blitz, silence the doubt, and win when it matters most, then the narrative changes forever. Then the Vikings aren't just hoping anymore. They're building. Then Justin Jefferson doesn't start eyeing the exit. He locks in. Then free agents don't see Minnesota as a maybe. They see it as a destination. And J.J. McCarthy, he becomes more than a quarterback. He becomes the cornerstone, the symbol, the reason a franchise finally turned the page. But all of that, every ounce of that future, rests on what happens next. Because the countdown is over, the wait is done, the lights are up, and the fire is coming.